Your tongue is a window into your gut. So, whatever's happening on the tongue reflects what's happening in your digestive tract. So, we can check it out on a daily basis to see what's going on in there and make choices to support our health based on what we're seeing. The things that we want to look for in the morning when we first wake up, before we brush our teeth or scrape our tongue, are whether or not our tongue has a coating on it. And if it does have a coating, most tongues have a light coating, but if it does have a thicker coating, that's indicative that there's some toxicity in the digestive tract. So then we want to consider, what color is that coating? If it's white, that generally indicates that there's too much nourishment happening. We're overdoing it, overeating, eating foods that are too rich. We need to dial it back some and eat a little bit lighter, or maybe even fast for a meal or two. If the coating is yellow in color, that's indicative that there's too much heat and intensity in the system. And so we want to cool down. We want to favor cooling foods and rein in our intensity if we can. If there's a brown, black, or blue coating on the tongue, that's indicative of deficiency. That means that we want to increase our nourishment, increase our rest. We're maybe moving around too much, multitasking, overstimulated, and so we want to try to slow things down. We also want to look at where on the tongue the coating is. So if the coating is in the back of the tongue, that's indicative that the toxins are in the colon. If the coating is in the central part of the tongue, that's indicative that the toxicity is in the small intestine, stomach, liver, pancreas, spleen, that whole area. And if the coating is toward the front of the tongue, that's indicative of toxicity in the lungs and heart area, in the upper body. So the tongue, even looking at the tongue, it kind of reflects the lungs on top here in the beginning part, then it moves down into the stomach, navel area, and then at the back of the tongue is the lower abdomen. So we can kind of associate those geographic locations with where they are on the tongue. We also want to look at whether or not there are any cracks on the tongue. And if there are cracks on the tongue, that also indicates deficiency and too much movement. If there's a foul taste on the tongue and or foul breath, that also can indicate toxicity in the gut. Now, most of us don't wake up with, fresh, amazing breath, but when there's an excessively bad taste on the tongue, when it really tastes gross. A lot of times if you're sick, if you've got a sinus infection or something like that, the flavor in your mouth can just be really unappetizing. And so when we have a foul taste on the tongue or consistently bad breath, that indicates that our gut needs some attention. Things aren't working well down there. We're not feeding it the right foods. And so we need to take a look at that. Now, of course, there could be other reasons why you have any of these things going on in your tongue. I'm giving you the general guidelines, but it's always best to work one-on-one with a practitioner to really find out what's going on with you. However, if you observe these indicators each morning, that is going to give you a sense of, okay, I see a thick white coating. That means I'm overdoing it on nourishment. Let me eat light today. Or maybe I won't have breakfast and I'll just have my lunch and dinner. Or, when there's a yellow coating on there, okay, let me choose really cooling foods and stay away from the hot, spicy stuff and other digestive irritants like nightshades. And then, the deficiency on the tongue, the brown, black, or blue coating, let me beef up my meals, quite literally. Let me go for the animal products that I eat, or root veggies, or the heavier, denser foods that are going to help really nourish my body. So I hope that's helpful. Feel free to drop any comments or questions you have right below.